Hello there, Cancer. Thank you so much for stopping by for your weekly tarot video forecast for the week of February 1st through February 7th. One quick announcement before we get started. I do still have some group mentoring sessions coming up. So if any of you are interested in expanding your own intuitive abilities, check out my website, find some of my contact information, drop me a line so that we can get you in on that. So let's get into your reading, Cancer. What we have coming up on Monday is we have the King of Cups. You are a water sign, but I'm strongly getting that this is somebody that you are going to be dealing with on Monday. So King of Cups is somebody who is very comfortable with feeling their emotions, very much able to express their emotions, very much able to release their emotions when the time is right. I feel like this person is talking to you on Monday, and I do feel like you were having a conversation that does have to do with this person's feelings about something going on around the two of you. So if this is a work thing, this might be a project that you're both working on. If this is a family thing, this could be somebody talking to you about maybe another family member, or maybe a concern that they have about you or about some relationship in the family. But there's something that this person is sharing with you as far as how they feel about things, which is going to be actually pretty significant, is what I'm hearing for you guys. So interaction on Monday with somebody that is going to be sharing their feelings about something or other in a very healthy way. I don't feel like this is, volcanic or explosive in any way. I feel like this is a very healthy sharing of feelings coming up on Monday. Now, Tuesday, Cancers, what we have is the Star card in reverse, and the Star card in reverse tells me that on Tuesday you're feeling a little bit out of touch with yourself. I have had this card come up for me before where I was on cold medicine and I felt like reality was just like right in front of me, but I just couldn't quite reach it. That can be this feeling, but this feeling really, it's a different type of feeling. I'm an empath, so I pick up other people's feelings. I felt a feeling like this before with somebody who was regaining his sobriety, and he just felt really like just not in touch with himself yet. People like that go through a lot of changes. And so just really feeling not in touch with himself to the point that it just felt really weird, even like maybe the body wasn't really feeling right either. So there could be something like that going on. Not saying that this is about everybody, every Cancer recovering from sobriety, but it's an example of one way that you can feel out of touch. Medicine is another way that you can feel out of touch. Sometimes things just change so quickly in your life that it makes you kind of lose your balance where you're feeling out of touch. And that can be happening too, that you're just dealing with a lot of changes right now. But I don't really get that so much. Things seem pretty stable, reasonably stable, let me say it like that. So this may be something that's artificially induced, maybe from some kind of medicine, or maybe from something that you're going through that just throws you a little bit, but just feeling a little bit out of touch with yourself and maybe not completely in touch with reality on Tuesday. Now, on Wednesday, what we have is the Devil card coming up in reverse. And I like the Devil card in reverse, and I'll tell you why. This is talking about either a fear or a temptation. And this is talking about a fear or a temptation that's already been defeated. So if you were like terrified of some situation, and every time you thought of it, even if it wasn't happening, it made your chest kind of tighten up and made your pulse race, that type of thing. This would be a fear that you've faced. You've kind of picked it apart and said, well, what would be so terrible if this happened? What would be the worst case scenario? How would I handle it if the worst case scenario happened? And then when you realize, you know what, there's something that you could do about it, it would be really something that would be handleable, it's not going to be the end of the world or anything, then all of a sudden that thing becomes so much less scary. And then same thing with a temptation. If you have a temptation that you're trying to overcome and you've dealt with it, you've already figured out, hey, you know what, I don't really need this anymore. This is what shows up on Wednesday. That like that fear or that temptation, depending who you are, is going to depend which one it is. But it comes up on Wednesday, and I like it that the devil card's in reverse because that tells me that when that thing comes up, it kind of gives you pause. You sort of think about it for a second and you realize, wait a second, this same exact situation would have scared the holy crud out of me a week ago or a month ago or whatever. Or this, if somebody would have done this, you know, a few days ago or a month ago or a year ago, I would have totally fallen for that temptation and been sucked in. But doesn't get me. It has no control over me on Wednesday. That's what I'm seeing for you Cancers. Whatever this old fear was or this old temptation was, it comes up, it's around you, and you realize, wow, that thing has no control over me. That's pretty cool. So that's what that card is telling me. Thursday, what you have coming up is Three of Swords in reverse. Three of Swords is talking about healing from some kind of heartache, and usually what I'm picking up is an emotional heartache kind of healing. But I have to say, even though I try to avoid bringing up any kind of medical in readings, what I'm really sensing is that for at least a handful of you Cancers, I feel like you may be healing from literal heart issues. So maybe you had heart surgery. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what else you would heal from with a heart. Maybe you had a heart attack and you're healing up from that. I don't exactly know, but for a handful of you, I feel like Thursday you're doing some healing with something that literally happened to the heart organ of your body. Now, for most of you, I feel like this is the meaning that normally comes in for me, which is a healing of emotions. And so this can be, maybe you have a conversation with somebody that hurt your feelings or betrayed you before, and or at least you thought they did, and you kind of get on the same page. You understand where they were coming from and they understand why you felt the way you did. And so it kind of eases things. It kind of heals things whenever you have full information a lot of times. Now, the other way to get healing here is to do it solo, like you're not meeting with that other person. Maybe that other person doesn't even care that they hurt you. I mean, who knows? There's all kinds of weird things that happen out there. But you can get that healing on your own as well by just doing some of your own self-work and by forgiving, whether they've asked for forgiveness or not. But definitely healing coming in for the emotions for most of you on Thursday. For others of you, this is literal healing from some kind of heart issue on Thursday. But that's the small minority of you. Now, let's move on to Friday. Friday, you have the Two of Clubs coming up, and this is telling me that you're making a decision. The twos are always about decisions or keeping balance. And so you've got the Two of Clubs. This is telling me that there's two things that you have huge feelings about and that you would like to participate in or with, and you don't have enough resources to actually do both. So you have to decide. And for some of you, it may be more than two things. But you have to decide, you have to prioritize, you have to choose one over the other. Not always the easiest choice when they're both things that you really have a lot of feelings about. But this card doesn't show me that you're doing any kind of procrastination on Friday, so I feel like whatever the decision is that you have to make between the two things that you really are into or really care about a lot, I don't feel like you have too much trouble in making that decision. If you do, it's kind of like you must be like flipping the coin and going, okay, that's how I'm going to settle it, because I don't feel any procrastination coming in on making that decision on Friday. All right, so let's move on to Saturday. Saturday, you Cancers have the Page of Swords in reverse. To me, this talks about digging out the facts. And when I think about digging out the facts, this is you're being the super sleuth. You're a sleuth at work here. This is not information that people are volunteering to you just because. This is information that you are thinking, things are kind of suspicious here, and I just want verification that I'm right, that I'm not paranoid or going crazy, so I'm going to dig and see if I can find any evidence of what I'm suspicious of actually going on. So, some digging going on Saturday on your part, Cancer. Be careful before you start digging. This is the advice that comes in, to make sure that you're ready for whatever you may find. For some of you, you are going to be very surprised to find somebody else's innocence. You're going to be like, well, darn, I thought for sure. And it's almost going to be a letdown, even though I feel like you're happy that they're innocent. You're also kind of let down that your digging didn't really pay off. It didn't confirm what you had in mind. So, you want to be ready for that possibility. You also want to be ready for the possibility that what you think is going on, and that you may find that whatever you think is going on on a way bigger scale than you thought. Okay, so you've got both ends of the spectrum there. You want to be ready for whatever you might happen to find before you start digging. Check in with yourself. Make sure you're ready for whatever may come up. If you're not, you might not want to dig just yet. You might want to wait a little bit until you're ready to find whatever information may be found. Okay, so that's Saturday. Sunday, we have the Lovers coming up in reverse. For some of you, this is actually talking about a decision, and you're kind of, it's an important decision that you're making about your life, and you're kind of at an impasse of which way to go. And you're feeling really stuck on finding that answer. Because originally the Lovers card did talk about decision making. It actually showed a man and two women, a blonde and a brunette, and it talked about making the right choice. And when you're choosing who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, that's a huge choice. So for some of you, this does have to do with decision and procrastination on a decision, a big decision for yourself, feeling like you're at an impasse where you don't really feel like you want to make that decision just yet. You don't feel like, you feel like your options, each one is just as good as the other. So why should you choose one? You feel like you want to wait till the scales tip a little bit. So just going to point out here really quickly, if that happens to be you, that's a fantastic time to get a reading. I love to look at options like that because we can take one option and we can go, okay, what happens if we follow this option, and put down some cards and see how that would play out for you. And then we can look at, okay, what happens if we follow option number 2 and see how that would play out for you. It gives you a little bit of an edge when you're making decisions about which way you want to go, especially if you're making some kind of big decision in your life. However, I don't feel like that particular interpretation applies to all of you Cancers, just some of you. So the other way that this comes in is I feel like for a lot of you, this is talking about having some kind of friction between you and a romantic partner. So maybe this is between you and somebody that you're just dating for the first time. Maybe this is your significant other that you've been with for decades, but some kind of friction there. And then for an even smaller number of people, I feel like this could be friction with another person, not necessarily a romantic partner, but having a hard time really getting on the same page with somebody else. Maybe the two of you are just having a hard time understanding each other and working together. Okay, so that is your Sunday, and that's your week. Thank you so much for stopping by, Cancer, for hanging out with me. I do appreciate all your likes, your subscribes, your shares, your comments. I appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here the next time. Peace out.